Well, the world will be watching tonight's re-entry and splashdown, but nobody more intently than the family members of the crew, and that includes our next guest. Bill Wiseman is the brother of Artemis II Commander Reid Wiseman, and he's joining us from Providence, Rhode Island. Bill, really appreciate you making the time for us. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity.
That must have been nice to hear about the weather. I know it's just one thing, but he said it. You couldn't ask for better conditions for splashdown.
Absolutely. Reid and I are both naval officers, so getting weather for this kind of an event would just make the job for recovery so much harder. It's great to know they got good weather out there in San Diego.
So that's great news. How are you feeling about splashdown, about re-entry and splashdown?
Well, I'll channel that through a few people.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am thrilled to see this mission coming to a close. Unbelievably solid execution, technically, even spiritually. Just the way that the crew has been able to, I would say, charm the world with a little bit of levity and some fantastic photography, and just really getting out there and reigniting the explorer gene in most of the folks. I'm super excited and proud of what these guys have done. If I channel Reid's daughters, they can't wait to get their dad back on the ground or in the water or anywhere other than space. And obviously our father is just a big bundle of nerves. He was that way at launch. He's going to be that way until he gets confirmation that splashdown was great. So, none of this comes without risk and a bunch of nerves. But man, what a flawless execution of the mission thus far.
You talked about the incredible photographs. You talked about the levity. What were some of the special moments that you're thinking about and that you're remembering that stood out for you during this mission?
First and foremost was the dedication of the bright crater to Reid's late wife, Carroll. That was completely unexpected. I thought Jeremy Hansen did a fantastic job introducing that, and I don't know how he kept his cool together, because I would have cried my eyes out doing that. That was a very emotional time, and that crew, knew Carroll. They saw Reid through most of that experience. These guys have a lot of history, and it was just great to see the crew do that. On the less emotional side, although it was awe-inspiring, was just seeing through their lenses the moon with in a solar eclipse state, which was super unique, and just that configuration of celestial bodies that enabled them to see something nobody else has seen was phenomenal. And then I honestly thought some of the interviews that they did with public figures, like your prime minister, some of the other folks, nobody could help but crack a joke now and then. And I mean, these guys are just they're enjoying themselves. They're having the time of their lives, and they're doing a mission that very few humans would be capable of doing. So that combination of just seeing those folks being as competent as they are, being as professional as they are, but having a great time at the same time, it's just fantastic to see.
It really is fantastic to see. But listen, I think you're right. A lot of people, I know for me, for a lot of people, one of the most touching moments was that emotional moment when the crew, as you mentioned, spotted several craters that didn't yet have names, and the crew suggested that one of the craters be named Carroll in honor of your brother's late wife who died of cancer. Let's just watch that moment.
And there's a feature in a really neat place on the moon, and it is on the near side, far side boundary. In fact, it's just on the near side of that boundary, and so at certain times of the moon's transit around Earth, we will be able to see this from Earth. And so we lost a loved one. Her name was Carroll, the spouse of Reid, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko, and it's just to the northwest of that, at the same latitude as Ohm, and it's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carroll, and you spell that C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
What went through your mind, and what did that moment mean to your nieces?
Well, our families have been really close since the kids were born. Honestly, I mean, we go on vacations together almost every year, sometimes more than once. And we saw Reid's daughters grow up. We saw them go through some very challenging times, and just to have the crew step back and honor. I thought it was really special. I know his daughters both really loved it. I got a chance to speak with Ellie. I haven't caught up with Katie yet, but it was an emotional moment for everyone. And I think they were, again, super thankful to Jeremy and the crew for coming up with that idea and making it happen on this mission. So I think thankful and grateful is probably the best emotion I could express.
Can you tell me a little bit more about Reid? How is he as a dad, and a brother? And did you always have a sense he'd be doing something like this someday?
Maybe I'll take that a little chronologically. So, when Reid was growing up, he was a drummer. His favorite band was Rush. He wanted to be Neil Peart. And so I didn't know if he was going to have a career in music or what. The movie Top Gun changed both of our lives, really changed his life because he got a chance to, get out of college and go to flight school, and he flew Tomcats and did everything that he wanted to do. I would say Reid was a real late bloomer. He was a middling average high school student. He came out of his shell a bit in college, getting an engineering degree and studying computer engineering. But wow, when he hit flight school, he just took off and he didn't stop. And I'm not, no pun intended. I mean, the guy's been on S-curves for the last 15 years, being a fighter pilot, being a test pilot, becoming an astronaut, and then commanding this mission. He keeps taking on positions of greater and greater responsibility. And what I love about that man is he is both an incredible servant leader. He's humble. He's got levity and he's balanced. He spends a tremendous amount of time with his daughters and being together with them in life. He spends a tremendous amount of time doing the work that he loves. And just finding a person with that level of competence and that level of balance in their life is very unique. And I'm just proud to be related to him.
Yeah, that sounds very special to have a brother like that. What does it mean to you when you see him as commander of this historic mission?
Well, I have to say, everybody asks, I'm a very competitive individual and have been my whole life, but I stopped competing with Reid at least 25 years ago. There was no question of who was the most impressive brother out of our family. I have just really encouraged him to shoot for everything he can do, and his skills and his leadership style have kept up with it, and being able to step out of the role that he had and into leading the Artemis mission with a crew of this quality is amazing. And it's just not the crew; it's the entire team that's collaborating to put the spacecraft and the booster and the launch platform together. I mean, what an amazing team! And Reid's been the leader of that the whole way. It's been incredibly impressive to watch. Frankly, it's a masterclass in leadership. I've learned a tremendous amount from him over the last couple of years.
Well, Bill, I've only known you for a few minutes now, but you sound pretty impressive to me as well. But thank you so much for spending some time sharing thoughts about your brother. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Bill Wiseman is the brother of Artemis II Commander Reid Wiseman.